Are you interested in the current state of the health industry? Want to know more about nutrition, natural medicine, holistic healthcare, and more? You're in the right place. Welcome to Nutrition Prescription with your host, integrative health and nutrition coach, Angela Atkins. She dishes the dirt on a bunch of health topics with a social consciousness flair. Here's Angela.
Welcome again to a new episode of Nutrition Prescription. I'm Angela Atkins of YourHealthUnbound.com, and today I have a very special guest for you. I have Christy Staub, who calls herself the Chief Rock Star, and that's awesome because she's going to tell us all about how to become a rock star. But let me first tell you a little bit about Christy and her background. Christy is driven by her passion to help people from around the globe to transform into purposeful, impactful, and positively influential leaders. Christy shares her innovative and inspiring lead like a rock star approach to discover, hone, and put into action the rock star leadership within. It's what Christy refers to as put the rock in your role, and that's an R-O-L-E. For over 25 years, Christy has been developing individuals, teams, and organizations to excellence in the areas of leadership, sales, and success with a straightforward leadership philosophy. Being a rock star is an attitude. It's a state of being. It's a choice. It's raising your hand and committing to being an elite performer, playing at the highest level, reaching the pinnacle of your chosen profession, and modeling excellence consistently to inspire and empower others to do the same. Wow, Christy, that is awesome. That is such a mission statement. I've not heard something so powerful. Tell me more about it.
Angela, hello, and thank you for including me today. And I just want to let you know, I believe it takes a rock star to know a rock star. And you're in my life, and I believe you too are a rock star, and the difference that you're making in the world is
thank you so much, Christy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So let me start right away, and let's talk about how you go about to developing and transforming your personal and professional leadership, and tell me all the different things that go with that. What is it that you do to make that transformation or help people make that transformation?
Well, in the Lead Like a Rock Star philosophy, I have what I call the 9 essential elements to leading like a rock star. And over the course of my 20-year corporate career and achieving my executive MBA just about 10 years ago, I realized that a lot of people are put into leadership positions, and perhaps they've never been given the development to take them from being a great specialist, let's say a great salesperson, and then all of a sudden one day walking in and being a great sales leader. And what I like to do is I like to start with what I call the self-directed rock star leader. And that's really becoming a full internal rock star, knowing at your core what your key values are, those core values, what you're passionate about, your purpose is, and really reinventing yourself over time, because I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if I didn't continue to grow and develop myself as a person and a leader. So what I do really starts with the core of the individual. And then once we have ourselves pretty well set, then there are a number of other areas I work with to help people gain leadership influence so that they can go out and follow people in a positively influential, on purpose way.
Wow. Follow people in a positively influential, purpose way. Can you expand a little bit? That's a lot in a sentence.
You bet. What I would like to do in my lifetime and what I would like to do today, somewhere in the middle, we call it the gap. I would like to read the news headlines, and I would like to experience what I call GNN, the Good News Network. I don't want to have to turn on the news and find out about another school shooting. I don't want to have to turn on the news and find out about a woman who has been harassed in the workplace. I want to have these things come to a stop. And so We have a lot of leadership that goes on in the world every day, in our homes, which I believe is where it starts, in our communities, our governments, and in our businesses here in the United States and around the world. Just because there is a lot of leadership happening, it doesn't mean it's positive leadership.
I'm glad you defined that well. That I wanted to say something, but you were going there, and I really appreciate you being very specific about that.
To me, it's important. There might be a mother at home with a newborn baby who has no idea what the next 20 hours, let alone next 20 years of the child's life is going to be. Or there may be a woman executive CEO who's so good at running the business from day to day and taking care of all the people around her, as you know, Angela, and not taking care of herself, and it impacting her life, her leadership, and her overall health. So it's taking a look at how can we not only develop and transform people into leaders, how can we transform them into leaders who are leading purposefully, who are leading impactfully, and developing other leaders along the way, and living from a perspective where we're living positively and we're encouraging people and not discouraging people. We're empowering people, not disempowering people. Positively influential leadership.
I think that's an excellent topic. And I want to go down there a little bit. What I have seen in my past life in corporate world is there are many women who claw their way to the top, and yet they don't reach back down and help other women up. Now, from what I hear from you, that is an important feature. You need to start empowering other people. What is it that you do that's different from the average leadership training? Because leadership sometimes is that dog-eat-dog world, like you've got to get to the top, and regardless of what else happens. What is it that makes a difference that you are pointing out the positivity of it?
I think it's the being on purpose. It's not being thrust into something. It's not choosing to go into something without a good understanding of who you are and what makes you tick. Because again, we're looking for that influential leadership. We're all influencing people on a daily basis. How do we do that? One of the things I talk about in the 9 essential elements to leading like a rock star is each of the elements builds on one of the others. And one of the later elements is rock star leaders hang out with rock stars. When we know who we are, we know the like-minded people that we want to be surrounding ourselves with, the people that are on the same, that have the same purpose and the same vision that we do. And Jack Canfield, one of my mentors, says it really great. He says, in life, we have the opportunity to be the teacher to those below us, to be the fellow traveler at people going at the same pace we're at, and also to be a student and learn from those who have more experience. And rock stars hang out with rock stars really is about hanging out with the people who are empowering, who are engaging, who are supporting you on the days you may not even believe in yourself, versus the opposing thoughts in each of those different areas that I don't even want to touch upon again. So it's really about surrounding yourself with good people, asking for help along the way, being responsible for your development as well, and then remembering when you do at any point in your career, I don't even care if you're 15 years old. If you're 15 years old or 95 years old, you still have the opportunity to mentor, to guide, to assist someone else's development. And it's always reminding ourselves, we did not get here by ourselves. Oftentimes we might think, oh, I was so independent, I took care of everything I did. Well, if you just start thinking about the little things, who created the technology for you and I to be able to do a podcast for people listening today? Who, in what you're going to share when we'll talk about it a little later in an interview with me, who picked our food? Who planted this seed? Who, all of these people, when we really put the whole puzzle together of humanity and the planet, who are all these people that are interdependent and supporting one another? We're doing it anyway. What if instead on Twitter we bashed someone? What if we gave them a, hey, I caught you doing something right today. Keep going.
I love that thought. I do. And I really look at it as we are an interconnected web of people. We just happen to be on an interweb, as they used to say.
Yes.
Now let's use it for positivity rather than platforms to, like you said, to bash people or to create such divisiveness. That really throws me, how we've gotten so divisive. You cannot express a single opinion that someone doesn't come back with an opposing opinion, and it's no longer, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It's absolutely, now you are in completely different ballparks, and you're wrong, one of them says, or both of them say. And that's unfortunate, because it used to be, I hear you, let's agree to disagree. Absolutely. And that allowed for continued conversation. This no longer allows for continued conversation.
And we form habits so quickly in our lives. And over a 90-day period, we can create a new habit that will last a lifetime unless we choose to pay attention to that habit and create a new, more positive. Somebody's out there doing a game counting how many times I say positive or positively right now. A positive perspective on, let's change the conversation. One tweet, one Facebook post, one interview at a time. And like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. What I want to see in the world is people lending a hand, people offering up the things they have and leveraging the contacts that they might have, the opportunities, the possibilities, so that when we share what we're on purpose on in our lives and we share our visions, I might not be on the same page as someone. However, if they share with me, this is what I'm looking to do in the world, out of 7.5 billion people, there are people who are in alignment with that. And if it's a positive movement forward in humankind, I'm going to connect that person and their idea with someone else that has a similar idea so that they can be like-minded on that project and go make wonderful things happen. It sounds so simple, Angela.
It does. And you know what gets in the way? Egos.
People.
Well, it's egos, the people's egos. We have become, and this is not being detrimental in any way, but we've become very self-centered. We no longer really have to interact with people. We can use our technology and keep to ourselves and still think we learned about all the world. And this is exactly one reason why I started this podcast, because even though I am a coach and I focus on nutrition, I don't know and have all the answers for everybody. Right. So if there is another coach that has other skills, I want to be able to refer them. So what I have chosen to do is, let's make this collaborative. So let me bring you people who can offer other things that I don't offer. And because of that, I think it becomes the spread of good knowledge, like you said, the positivity. Right. Just multiplies, because then you have, people who have never heard me or people who have never heard my guests, and they hear these new ideas, and you keep spreading that positivity, and I hope it blossoms into something else. I hope that blossoms into a movement of positivity.
Me too. And it has to happen one person at a time.
Exactly.
I call it the it factor. When someone looks at you and they go, whoa, I want what she's having. Sometimes when we're in a restaurant situation, there'll be a table of people just laughing. And sooner or later, everybody looks over there, because deep down inside, we all want to have happiness. And we all want to be able to express that. So if you're the person, even if, and there's a great quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that says, sometimes you have to stand alone to be counted. Yeah. If you take a stand today for positivity in your life, and you make sure that you're surrounding yourself with other people who are looking to move positivity forward, you're going to start attracting new people into your life that want to take that message out into the world. And Angela, I'm really excited. In a minute, we're going to share something that I believe has a way of making that happen through the month of August.
I agree. I definitely agree. But let's give a little more background here. Tell us how you can exert more positive influence in life and leadership.
Well, I'm going to tell you. When I was going, it's funny, I keep talking about my MBA. It's because it's my 10-year reunion of my executive MBA this week. So I'm going to get back together with my cohort. And I remember when we were getting ready to go 10 years ago this summer on our trip to Thailand and then on to China. Had to go get shots and pills and all that stuff. And while I was working in the healthcare center with the nurse, she said, "May I ask you a very personal question?" And I said, "Sure." And she goes, "Are you always this happy, or did you have to learn to be this happy?" And I said with a smile on my face, "Yes and yes." Because I wasn't set on this path in life to be this happy. I knew the course of life I was on. It was filled with a lot of drama and chaos. It had been in generations of my family until one day I had a situation with another person and I was looking for the chaos and the drama, and I could just feel my body becoming weaker and I felt so disempowered. And I took a look at, gosh, who are the people I'm spending the most time with and how are they impacting me? And the person who I wanted to spend the least amount of time with after I looked at the list was me.
Ooh.
Because what I realized is I was reliving the fourth generation that I know of in behaving in this way. And that evening, I stopped and I said, I'm going to start, and I don't run it anymore. However, I started a group called Professional Ladies Night Out. And all of the people, I was living in Scottsdale at the time, all of the people, women leaders I had admired, I wrote down a list and I said, these are the people I want to be hanging out with. Let's see if they want to hang out with me. And I created a happy hour for a week down the line, 62 women.
Wow.
Showed up that first night, 62 women I had not met before in my life. And it was me choosing yes to positivity. It was me starting to learn what I didn't know and how I could be more positive by choosing, taking responsibility for myself and deciding I want to be known for the lady who has a smile on her face, who can spread love and positivity everywhere she goes. And it's possible for anyone.
Wow, that's awesome. So being happy is a choice.
Yes. It goes back to being a rock star leader. It's what I call the ABCs: attitude, state of being, and the choice.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And you exemplify it. I mean, it's true. You make that choice and
Yes.
you live it, and there it is. You are naturally now a happy, positive person. That's awesome. It's great to see it come to life, come to fruition.
Yes. And for people who might be out there saying, hey, Christy, not everybody has a great day every day. I've had some pretty tough days. I've had some days where I woke up and I looked around the room and I said, I think I woke up on the wrong side of the room, even though this is the side I wake up on every day. And life happens. And that's good, because when we come up against those things in life that challenge us and might make us choose positivity when we don't feel positivity in the moment, there's a lesson in there. There's growth in there. So it's diving into what might be uncomfortable, knowing that this is going to help me be more positive in the longer term picture as well.
So take it a step further. Tell us, how do we live and lead from a place of passion, positivity, and purpose?
Wow. How I live from a place powered by passion, positivity, and purpose is that I'm doing what I want to do every day. Excuse me. 9.5 years ago, I was at the top of my game in corporate America. I love corporate America. Most of my clients, 98% of my clients, are either organizations or individuals inside of corporations today. And what I realized is, even though I was at the top of my game, I was making really good money, I knew that I had a good half of a working lifetime left. And I wasn't making the difference every day that I wanted to make in the world. When I looked around, I was leading sales teams at the time, and I had some members on my team who were just bona fide, solid rock stars. Their goals that they were given were expectations. That was the baseline. And their expectations were, I want to be the best me. I want to be the best consultant for my clients. I want to be the best. And then I worked with another group of people who mediocrity and complacency were fine. And mediocrity and complacency aren't fine to me. In the Lead Like a Rock Star philosophy, you mentioned modeling excellence consistently to empower and inspire others to do the same. That's the environment that I want to create. Those are the people I want to be surrounding myself with. And I decided if I really was going to put a stake in the ground for my passion moving forward, that it was going to be leadership development for, again, individuals, teams, or full organizations that wanted to not only be good, they wanted to be rock stars. And there's something also, Angela, about rock stars. Rock stars don't get to the top and fall back down. That's a one-hit wonder.
Right.
A rock star makes it to the top of the charts and sustains over time. And in sustaining over time, it also requires us to stay relevant, to reinvent ourselves, to continue to grow and learn personally and professionally. And when you get to the point where you've been a rock star who's sustained a long period of time, you typically end up transcending your own, not only your organization, not only your industry. Oftentimes, you transform or transcend to completely other areas, and in many cases, making a global difference, i.e. U2 and Bono is a perfect example of that. Every year, Bono is listed as one of the most top 50 influential leaders in the world by Time Magazine. He's a rock star. So how do we, on a continual basis, continue to learn and to grow, and not to get to the point where occasionally I'll come across a client that goes, thanks, Christy, you know what? I already know all this. I already know all this. Number one, we know it's impossible. So I say, okay, great opportunity. We have a blind spot. So let's take a look at the blind spot. If you knew it all, are you living it all? Are you consistently practicing all there is? And is it showing up in the being of who you are? So that we don't need to, because it doesn't work anymore, lead people the way we used to by threat or by consequence, or it's what I call leadership is going through a leader shift. It's being what you want people to see. It's the X factor. It's walking your talk in alignment with your values, your passion, your purpose. And that goes back to the Powered by Passion. We've talked about positivity. And for the last 9 years, I get out of bed every day. My purpose is simple. Put the rock in your roll. And there you have it.
It's awesome.
Thanks,
really
Angela.
awesome.
You're awesome.
So tell me, how do the average person who wants to begin living this purposeful, positive life, how do they begin taking action and become that best version of themselves for the future, both as an individual and if they're choosing to become a leader?
Yeah, get real. Who are you? Who am I? Ask yourself, who am I? It's the self-directed rockstar leader. Who am I? Understand what I call the DAM, the D-A-M, the drive, the ambition, the motivation. And this goes back to our values. Everything I help people with starts with the foundation of values. Values of the individuals, values of the organization, and are the values and the organization in alignment with one another? Because whether or not we consciously know it, every decision we make, every behavior or action we have or take in the world is based on our values. So if you're feeling stress, if you're making decisions and inside you don't feel good, you're out of alignment. That not living in alignment causes stress in your life. So number one, build that foundation of values. And I have a wonderful tool that I use that can actually measure individual values. So it's not a pen and paper exercise of circling what's important to you. It actually measures your values. And then in addition to that, if you take a look at the indicators that we measure in business, the fitness of an organization, the finance of an organization, stakeholders, cultures, etc., we can overlay the values onto the business needs scorecard and identify, are we in alignment in our current culture with our personal values? And what if we're not living our current culture at 100%, what are the desired cultural values that we want to bring into the workplace? Because, Angela, this is really interesting. We're always talking about employee engagement. How do we get our employees to do more? Well, right now, we know that 67% of employees, and I like to call them team members, in the American workforce today, 67% of every employee of the workforce that walks in your doors every morning, 67% are disengaged or actively disengaged. So as leaders, we need to be asking ourselves, what do we need to do differently? Values can help with that. Identifying the passions of your people to make sure they're doing the right function in the organization and aligning it with their purpose. So when they come in every morning, and I believe they're coming in there to serve and contribute their gifts and talents, when they come in the door every morning, they get to bring more of themselves with the more values that they can live in the workplace. The engagement goes up and they feel a part of the overall vision and success. The fewer values of my top 10 values that I live in the workplace, in some instances, I am checking myself at the door as a human being, coming in as a skeleton and giving what I'm giving you. No discretionary effort whatsoever.
So it's really up to a leader to exemplify the values that they want their employees to live.
Yes, and.
And?
I was going to say yes, and I'm a big proponent of taking 100% responsibility.
Okay.
So what I say to the individuals, number one, find a job that fits your values before you say yes. Also, there's a lot going on in the leadership realm. So to make sure that you're top of mind with your leaders, make sure that you're giving your extra effort. Make sure that you're learning more. Make sure that you're lending a hand and taking control of your career as well. And leaders as a whole, take a look at your organization. Take a look at those results of your last employee opinion survey. Are you really happy with the results that you're getting, or could you be doing more, and what might that look like for you inside of your organization?
So really, what I'm hearing is leaders need to be part of the team.
Absolutely. Yes. And I would say too, when I'm sitting down with leaders, it's your responsibility. And when I sit down with team members, I'm saying it's your responsibility.
Right.
And it can start at the point we're interviewing people to bring them inside the organization to make sure that they're a good fit and we're not trying to fill a body. I always say when we know there are people that are in seats that would be happier somewhere else, the quicker we can help them find their ideal position, whether it's in your company or inside another company, the person who's disengaged that does not want to be, that doesn't want to come around, is in the seat of someone else who dreams to be in that seat. So let's make sure, I call it, making sure you're getting the right people in your band.
That's great. I think that's a good philosophy for any organization. I mean, yes, you do need bodies to do the work, but you want bodies that are really invested in that work. And it makes everybody happy. It makes the individual happy to want to go to work, and it makes the leader happy that they have somebody invested, and it makes the organization overall happy because then there's more cohesion. That's excellent.
Absolutely. And with that said, if you want to continue being competitive in today's marketplace and you want to be sustainable over time, surround yourself with rock stars and continue to innovate and move forward with good people in place.
That's a great point for us to talk about what you're offering to our guests today. So you have your premiere season of Christy Stobbs, From the Boardroom to Backstage, Women Leaders Who Rock. Tell us about that.
Well, Angela, I'm excited. because a little earlier we were talking about how can I do one thing every day to advance my positivity, to advance my personal leadership, to advance my professional leadership. And I also want to tell you, it's what this is, from the boardroom to backstage, Women Leaders Who Rock. It's your all-access pass to 21 daring, diverse, and dynamic leadership experts who are powered by what we were talking about, powered by passion, positivity, and purpose. And Angela, I have to tell you, and you know this, but I want to tell everybody listening on the podcast right now, I went beyond my comfort zone. Much like I told you when I put the professional ladies night out happy hour together, I could have very easily filled this premiere season 1, with 21 people that I have in my current community. And I thought to myself, Christy, I want you to be daring. I want you to go out and I want to have you take a look at the holistic perspective of leading oneself and gaining influence in order to increase the number of people you're leading right now professionally. So I went out and reached out to a number of different women, and I was able to put together a roster of 21 plus. I've had some more women say, hey, I want to throw my hat in there. Is it too late? And I said, for you, you're right on time. So 21 plus women. And the topics, Angela, number 1, you are one of the Rockstar experts, and you're going to share how you're powered by your passion, your positivity, and your purpose.
And I thank you, Christy, for reaching out to me. It truly is a joy meeting you and having a great conversation with you.
Well, thank you. I'm excited. And we are going to touch upon everything from how to build a positive workplace and be civil and positive in the workplace. Even if you're the only shining light in a given day, standing in that space and holding a place for others to join you. We're going to talk about the brain science behind teams. I have another guest joining us. She calls herself the Mogul Mom. It's about running a business, raising a family, and rocking them both. If that doesn't fit in with Women Leaders Who Rock, I don't know what would. And then, of course, a good friend of yours, Nancy Matthews, the One Philosophy. I have the Wow Factor coming on board. We're going to talk about how to build not only your influence on the outside, how to build your health and well-being and strength as a leader from the inside out. And there's so much positivity. There's so many women stepping up. And what I think is really amazing about this whole thing, Angela, is it is free. It's a complimentary 21 plus day video series where more women are freely giving away their content for one reason: to help support females in leading from where they are today while guiding them to becoming the best version of themselves in the future, both as individuals and leaders of self, and then leaders of others. And Angela, every guest, including you, will be giving away a free gift during their video cast, during their online video interview.
Wow, Christy, you have done a phenomenal job putting together quite a roster of experts and people who are going to offer their passion, positivity, and purpose. And I think it's going to be phenomenal for people to come and just enjoy the insights that they're going to get. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the link with this podcast so they'll be able to sign up and get access, all access pass to the 21 plus experts. And we'll just make sure that everything is here to get in contact with you and to sign up for the summit.
And Angela, going back to the Rockstar Leaders Hang Out with Rockstars and Rockstar Leaders Invest It Forward, I'd like to encourage anyone on this call who signs up to share it. Share it with someone, the link to the series. Share it to a family member who you know might be able to gain or glean something from it, a colleague at work, your customers or clients out in the workforce that you're partnering with to do amazing things with in the business world. This is really geared for women leaders, entrepreneurs, and peak performers who are already doing great things in the world and who continue to grow and develop themselves transform themselves and others. Because one thing I know, Angela, working with corporations, organizations do not transform until the people in the organization transform. It's the people transforming, the leaders transforming, that make it possible for the organization to transform too. And we know there's been a lot of disruption in businesses. Think about what Uber's done. Think about Grubhub. Think about all of these different technologies that are new in the last year or the last 5 to 6 years that have disrupted an entire industry that in some cases has been around for hundreds of years. If we do not continue to develop ourselves, transform ourselves from where we are to where we want to be in the future, we will become irrelevant, and who wants that?
Wow, you are absolutely correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I include something like a clickable tweet that people can share, and I'll put all the social media icons that people can just automatically share on their feed, because this is really worthwhile. This is going to be something that if you have the inklings to be a leader, or if you have your own passion about something, you really are always learning. You always want to learn. And it's not just about your specialty. It's not like I don't just learn about nutrition all the time.
Right.
I try to learn leadership skills and learn other things that are going to make me not only better at what I do for clients, but what makes me a better me. So I get the best version of myself. And I keep reinventing that all the time, because as one of my coaches always says, because we're a constant evolution. So
Absolutely.
We just need that evolution to be an ongoing process.
And we're talking about the whole individual, the whole leader. That's why we're covering so many different areas, some a little more traditional, some cutting edge, and some that, hey, this is the vessel. Our body is our vessel. And if we want to live our purpose, we've got to make sure that this vessel is tuned, fed, and ready to go, so that we can make the impact we're looking to make, no matter how small or how large your mission, your vision, and your purpose may be.
Wow, Christy, we have covered a lot, and I want to say we could probably cover so much more, but I want to thank you for your time. I want to tell everybody, please join Christy Staub and her premier episode, her premier Boardroom to Backstage Women Leaders Who Rock Summit. And again, thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you, Angela. See you soon, everybody.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us again on another episode of Nutrition Prescription. And until next time, take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Nutrition Prescription with your host, Angela Atkins. Find her online at yourhealthunbound.com, Twitter at Angela C. Atkins, and Facebook.com/Angela Atkins HN Coach. We'll see you next time.